Hi, and hello. We are extremely excited to be back. This is our first live of 2023.
Hey y'all.
Are ecstatic. We brought some of our sister girlfriends along. Y'all know me, Coach Ebony Lachelle. I didn't do my spiel.
Oh, here
Welcome
she go.
to you, me, and the Trinity's Christ connections and conversations. With me, your girl, Coach Ebony Lachelle, and Elder Kim. We brought our friends along, Sister Janotica and Sister Shanika. Um, we getting into the meat of some things tonight. Motherhood.
Mm.
What I wish I knew. We'll give a few seconds and let the other ladies introduce themselves, and we'll end with Elder Kim. We might have some new people tonight who uh had never been with us. So y'all go ahead. Not you go first.
Okay, I'm Janotica. Ebony said not. So
Oh, did
also a lot of people know me by
I'm
my
so
nickname,
sorry.
which is
I'm
not.
so
That's fine.
sorry.
That's
Oh
fine. That just lets
God.
you know how really laid back we are, and we'll still continue to be laid back tonight, and we'll be as personable and let you all into our inner circle and inner spaces into motherhood on tonight in the level of transparency that you probably not witnessed before. Um, and again, I'm Janotica, so I'm excited to be on the panel tonight and in this discussion with the ladies on tonight.
I am so sorry, Sister Janelle.
Girl, I'm not. You're fine.
Nika.
Hello. I am Shanika. A lot of people know me as Nika or Nika's Natural. Um, so excited to be on with you guys tonight. It's been a while. It's been a while since I was last here, but man, I'm so excited and just honored to share a part of my journey through this the toughest hood ever known, motherhood.
Ain't it hood?
It
Ain't
is
it
the
hood?
hood, baby. It is the Chicago of life.
Well, before we get too deep off in this thing, let me just say,
Well, let me say hello to the people.
oh wait, because okay, go ahead,
She's so
girl.
excited. She just gonna leave
Ebony
you.
is so excited tonight that it is what it
Good
is.
grief.
We're
Hello,
excited.
everybody. It's all right. It's all good. I'm Kim. Some people call me Elder Kim, Minister Kim, whatever y'all want to call me. I am Kim, one part of you, me, and the Trinity, and also one part of Christ Connections and Conversations. We are happy and excited that you all are here to join us. We hope that we can be as transparent as we can be and kind of just let y'all know that it's okay. Some things we just don't know, y'all, and that's okay. So thank y'all for joining us.
Yeah,
Go
so
ahead, eager beaver.
look, Eagle,
He's
I
very
just want
eager
to take a
tonight.
moment to say Happy Founders Day to all of my sorors of Alpha Kappa Alpha
Yeah,
Sorority
girl.
Incorporated. Ski we my sorors.
Happy
We are
Founders Day,
celebrating
later.
115
Happy
years of
Founders Day.
sisterhood
Happy
and
first
so.
Founders Day to my pastor. Pastor Lisa knows it's her very first Founders Day. So happy Founders Day,
Oh,
you ladies, AKA.
you didn't tell me that.
Yeah, it's her very first Founders Day. Today.
Oh,
I just heard Lisa knows. That excites me. What's Lisa knows? The
so
Brown singers. Oh
let's
yeah,
The
I'm coming to your church.
hmm
look.
Come
You
on,
need
girl.
to
We
come
let her
into
have it.
this other room we be having, but
Come on, girl. We let her have it.
um, so motherhood,
Oh,
the most ghetto hood I know,
Mm.
next to adulthood.
next to
Mm-mm.
adulthood.
Mm-mm. I
Adulthood
think
ghetto too.
motherhood is the worst.
Adulthood is the
Motherhood
most.
is
Never
first.
mind, I take that
Adulthood
back.
real ghetto.
Adulthood is the most ghetto hood. But let's talk about our topic tonight. Is what I wish I knew. So let's just start off with a simple. What's something that you wish you knew before you became a mother? Shanika, let's
Oh,
start with you.
That they weren't gonna be always cute to you. That kids ain't always cute. Like you know, but you don't know. You know, like you think even like their little awkward phase is gonna be kind of cute. You're gonna get through it together because they're gonna just be so loving to their mom. the lie.
Yeah.
Main shit.
Janonica.
That they were going to be mini yous and that mini me cute sweet topic or the cute things, my mini me, that is sometimes can be the most troublesome part of motherhood when you can see you in a child. Now, the things that they say and do, and you thought they were going to be just the cutest little kids forever, like she said, and then they grow up and they start thinking on their own, and they um and that motherhood actually comes with a lot, it does not stop. It's 24/7, even if it's not physical, just even the thought process of a mother, and that everything falls under the umbrella of a mother. When you see mother, father, but when you realize that everything falls under the umbrella of a mother, I wish I knew that. I wish I knew that.
Yeah.
I wish I had known that 24 years ago when I had my oldest child, that the day that I gave birth was the last day I was going to sleep all night long forever. I have not had a full night's sleep since I have had children. I mean, because they go from being little babies and you up with them, but then when they start to matriculate to adulthood, like being a young adult and hanging out and all of, baby, you don't sleep. You don't sleep, even though they grown, and you just with so much going on in the world. You got to release them and let them go. But baby, some of these nights, I just be up praying, waiting, glad to hear that lock turn to make sure that mine done got in the house. Wish somebody had told me I wasn't gonna be able to sleep no more.
I wish someone had told me that once I became a mother, every other decision that I ever made in life would revolve around them.
That right there.
I I wish somebody had told me that. Um, so I'll just get right into the transparent moment. My son was born at 29 weeks. So I was in the hospital on bed rest for a week before I had him. Then, and it was funny, y'all, like a lot of people already know that my dad is retired AME pastor. And that, what was that, a Friday or one day, my aunts, one of my mother's sister, was sitting in the hospital with me because my parents needed to go to Birmingham for something. And I said, hey, y'all go ahead, go on, I'm gonna be okay. Well, they went up, came back. The doctors came in and put me on a monitor, and I heard his heart decel. And I said, okay, they about to come back in here in a few minutes because that's a problem. And my dad was like, no, you all right, you just looking. I was like, no, because by trade, by profession, I'm a nurse. I said, that's a problem. Not even 2 minutes later, one of the nurses, because I knew her, she said, girl, we just gonna leave you on a little bit longer. Okay. I was like, I said, oh. And 20 minutes later, the doctor was coming in telling me the ambulance was finna transport me 3 hours to Birmingham, asked me if I wanted to go to Birmingham or Pensacola. So at that point, not only did my life change, but my support system life changed too. Because then my daddy's sister, who her niece lived in Birmingham, my mama, one of her nieces lived in Birmingham, so we went that way because we had family. So my daddy's sister ended up driving behind the ambulance 3 hours away, trying to catch up with the ambulance. I had no clue that you hear about the things that happen, but you don't ever think that you're going to be the one that happens to. And so here we go. I'm, gosh, 25 years old, being rushed to, driven by ambulance to Birmingham in the middle of the night. And I had no clue of what the next steps were going to be. how I had to make a decision to leave my child in the NICU because I had run out of leave on the new job that I had started, and I I had to go because my parents had already paid $1,000 for my insurance because I didn't qualify for FMLA because I had not been on that job for a year.
Mm.
So you make, and some people say, well, I would never leave mine, but what do you do when you're in between a rock and a hard place? And while I was married, we needed my income. So uh, that
Mm.
was hard for me.
Mhm.
I'm
That
sure.
was that was really hard. So I don't, you know, decisions,
Yeah.
but I wish somebody had told me that everything I would do from that point on, from what type of job I would take to what I put up with in marriages,
Ooh.
would stem from what I wanted to present to my children.
Mhm. Mhm.
Hmm.
So I'm glad we're here because I wanted to ask a question about pregnancy. I just went through an experience with my little sister who I adore. She's my adopted little sister. She had a baby Thursday, but I felt like I was pregnant with her because everything that happened, she says, da, 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 da. So what is something, because you never know, we may have, pregnant new moms watching. What is something you wish you'd known during pregnancy?
Well, Evan said you was never gonna sleep again.
Hmm.
Oh,
But
no,
I,
no, you
yeah.
said, Kim said, sorry. Um, with my youngest son, my son was so attached to his father, even in my womb. He was on his father's schedule, his sleep pattern. Um, he was he would not let me rest at night until his daddy got home in the morning. And then I would literally have to put my belly on his back, or he would have to hold my stomach for the baby to settle down. And during the day, while daddy was sleeping, mommy was up, baby was asleep, just like daddy. And if I did too much moving around, oh, he was going to let me know he was unhappy. And that went on for a couple of years after he was born. He's still a night owl. He still likes to be up at night. But that went on the entire pregnancy and a couple of years afterwards. But finding ways to get him to rest so that I could rest was a challenge for me. And finally, I think he was probably about 6 months old. I just started grabbing his dad's t-shirt and put him in the bed with him, or let him sleep on his dad's side of the bed next to me with his t-shirt or whatever, so that he could smell and sense him, and he would just calm down enough to go to sleep for a while. Yeah, that was the main thing for me.
That's a blessing, cause honey, I'm glad my baby can sleep without. He'd have been
Do
up,
you hear
he'd have
me?
been messed
Baby, do you
up.
hear me?
So, I mean, for you, that's a blessing that you had that.
To
Because
be
a
able to
lot of
grab a
people
t-shirt and lay it on the side of the bed where the
aren't.
baby slept. Because baby,
Yeah,
it was no evidence.
a
I
lot of
had
people
no
aren't
evidence.
fortunate, especially those who are having babies and they're not married and they're going through trying to dad's trying to figure out why dad isn't involved, or mom is just going through the whole pregnancy by herself and different things like
Mhm.
that. So even in that, I still see the blessing. And you didn't say it, but it sounded like dad was there. So
Oh wow.
for a while, well, he got through that point of where it mattered. And for a lot of young women, um what they just have to be conscious of is that regardless of if there's somebody there or not, you're still going to have to be mom. You're still going to have to figure out a way to soothe that baby when others are trying to rest, or you think you can rest, it's just not. And it makes you mad, upset, irritated, angry. You almost feel like, why must I bear this cross alone? Just different things
Mhm.
that you have to take into consideration. And even for myself, like I have a child who is um, has seizures, he has epilepsy, and he has autism. So can you imagine having to go through that? The great thing is that God has taken everything that I've had to deal with, and we found purpose in everything that I've been through, and I've been able to come out of it or understand that God is taking me through this for that He would get the glory, number one, but so that we can see the goodness of God and the miracles that He can perform daily in the lives of our children. But I know this may be off, but one of the things that I found more so is that pregnancy, babies, motherhood, you have to be intimate with Christ in order to get through that. I'm saying it's a sense of intimacy that you don't, I'm telling you, it is so necessary. And even you seek Christ more for your children than what you would even do for yourself in moments when we're having to fast and pray for our children. A lot of people see me and think I'm just sometimes losing weight. No, I'm fasting because of what I'm having to deal with this child, and it's sometimes taking me from the things that I like the most, which might be some bread from time to time, and it's taking me from whatever I have to give up in that moment so that I can be that one to stand and truly say, God, if it's your will, take it off my child and put it on me. I mean, whatever I need to do to get past this hump. And we find ourselves, especially when our kids aren't able to pray for themselves, aren't able to do things for themselves, like all of our troubles and our hard times, it comes probably at a cost for us praying and giving up some stuff for our children. And so I don't know how anybody does motherhood without having an intimacy or a relationship with Christ, to where these children, if you don't do it for yourself, kids should draw you, because you should be on your face about your kid and the things that they're going through daily and wanting to see the change in the child. And so that's where I find myself at more so than anything, spending so much of my time getting through life. But the things that people don't see is the times that I am fasting, I am in the house, I am praying, I am declaring that this is my house, and Satan, you will not have my child or my home in this moment. And and so a lot of times I just think that those are the ways that we're going to be able to get through motherhood. And the things that you did not know is that you was gonna spend most of your days praying for your kids, and fasting for your kids, and seeking Christ for your kids, to where they, even once they are old enough to make decisions for themselves, you still asking God, oh me, God, for my child, please do this for my baby. And so those are just some of the things that I see that I did not know it was gonna take so much of that.
I
Yeah,
agree.
most of my days
It's
praying.
the same thing. Mine kind of ties in with pregnancy. I did not know the amount of fear that I would face. I don't know about y'all, but I was so scared. And I don't know if it was because I was so young, but I was so afraid. And I could not, it's like I didn't have a space to admit that in. It was almost like, oh, well, girl, you're wrong now. Don't nobody want to hear no whining. Don't nobody want to hear no crying. It's time to woman up. I didn't have a space for somebody to be like, how do you feel? How do you really feel? How are you emotionally? This is how you mentally prepare. This is how you spiritually prepare. I was only prepared to just take care of the financial and all of the things that a mother does. But when it came down to like my mental and my spiritual, I didn't really have a safe place to vent. Like, I'm petrified. I don't know what I'm up against. And then to tie in the fact that I was doing it alone without, I mean, I had my family, but I very early on, day one, when I found out I was pregnant, it became very evident that I was going to go through that thing alone. It was like, well, but what was I to do? I had a decision to make. Am I gonna give up and cry and not have this baby? Or am I gonna woman up and suffer the consequences of my actions? And that's what I did. But I was so afraid, and I wished I had a safe place to talk about my emotions during my pregnancy, because I didn't have that. That's what I learned during pregnancy. Coach Ebony,
What's what I learned?
during pregnancy that you wish you had known. that you didn't know before you had a baby about pregnancy?
Well, hmm.
Did you like? And it may have been nothing. Your experience may have been different.
Now, my first pregnancy, um, I think I was, because I am a nurse, I probably was a little, all of the physical changes that occurred. I expected those because I read up on them. This, that. I knew what this meant, so I just wanted to carry it. Um, and I would
Excuse me a
say I
minute,
was
y'all.
too young at the time to
Oh,
Oh,
to know what the spiritual and emotional ramifications of childbirth would be. But I will say that one thing I didn't know is that you sometimes lose friends through motherhood. Um, I lost well, I wouldn't say lost. But for a while we did lose each other. Lost a friend over motherhood. And I was not prepared for that. And while we have somewhat mended fences, I don't ever really think she. And while I have tried to explain it to her, I don't ever think she'll fully understand how deep the cut was. And I'll
but,
share.
but yeah, I was gonna say without going into too much detail, if you're not comfortable, like
No, I'll share. I had because I did have a preterm baby the first time. I had three doctors tell me not to ever get pregnant again. So everybody know that Hannah was a surprise. She was like, "Oop, surprise!"
I don't know how
So
she was surprised you were doing what it takes to get a baby.
I was, but she was like surprised. So I actually was depressed the whole pregnancy, and I was depressed. I had postpartum depression with her for about two weeks after. Because I had started a new job, I had just got remarried, I was trying to go to grad school, so a baby was not definitely not in my plan. So after I'd had her and I was talking to my friend at the time, and she had said something. She was like, I said, well, I'm gonna have to bring my baby. She was like, well, I don't really want to hang out with your baby. I just want to hang out with you. And y'all, that hurt my feelings so badly because when I met her over what it was like over 7 years ago at the time, I didn't have any children. And I had no issue going to where she was. She had one young child. I didn't have any problems going over to her. Most of the people that I hung out with at the time had children. Um, so it was just like, it was like, okay, well, everybody's package. I like the kids. So, we would go play, do whatever. So for her, just because her kids were older at the time, for her to tell me, I don't really want to hang out with the baby. I just want to hang out with you because I didn't have any, and that was her personal prerogative. I just wish she had kept that to herself because from that moment, I stopped, like, literally stopped communicating with her.
I would have been glad she told me that. Cause then, I mean, I wouldn't have wanted to keep that to myself. Cause then you knew how she felt,
Yeah.
how do you
Yeah.
say that in good conscience though? Like I don't see a soft way. Like you can't mean that for my well-being at all. Like I don't understand how somebody could consciously say, "Girl, leave that baby at home. I just want to hang out with my friend." What? This baby is now a part of who your friend is. What do you mean? And if we have
That
to
was
make
crazy.
ethnic to include the baby, then that's just what we'll do. It's been plenty of nights and girl nights where we probably wanted to go out. We opted to stay in because we had these children. So let's fix these children something to eat, make sure they straight, and we're gonna have our time over here because that's what friends do. You don't get to
Right.
tell me not to bring my child.
But
Because guess
yes,
what? I ain't coming and she ain't either.
so I mean,
Sorry,
we
Kim, you just got mad about that.
got real
And
mad because
I'm mad
I
too,
don't
but now I want
I
to
don't
understand how
blame.
you could even be friends again after that.
Yeah,
I
I
just
said
want
never
Well,
to
have my forgiveness, baby. I
you
ain't
know,
them.
it's we because I don't she apologized profusely several times, but it did totally change the dynamic of how I was able to interact with her because my children are small. Like I had a newborn. That means she gonna be small a long time.
My God,
Um
today.
and yes, it did make me question um the position
Hey,
and
friend.
you know
Most
and
definitely.
so and while we are I would say we went from friends to more or less associates. We
Hey, how
still
you
really
doing?
see
I'll
each
see you
other.
later. Cause,
Okay.
but and you
Okay.
know, and as
Hey.
to and to that, I will say,
say.
everybody knows my situation with Jay, and it was a long time that I would leave Jay with my mom and wouldn't just take him to some of the things that I went to, even that were kid friendly, because of sometimes it just wasn't gonna be good for Jay. But I have, and I think this has probably been now the last maybe 8, 9 years that it was more so I had to grow to saying, hey, this is my baby, regardless of what it is. And the more I expose him to things and to situations and to people, then they're able to accept what it is. And if you can't, then possibly you're the problem. And sometimes I ain't gonna take no lie, Jay do be the problem now. I can't lie. He is definitely the problem sometimes. But I needed people to love me beyond to be able to see my child and to love him. And subsequently, since I did decide that that was the life that we were going to live, it's like no Janotica or not without Jay. He's now, people see him everywhere that they would see me. um but there I had to grow to that point of allowing him to be able to go everywhere that I went that was kid friendly and not out of fear of how he may act or they may act towards him, because you have to just still know. And now I've even got to the point where I feel like if it's not good for him, I'll possibly not go. If it's too high for him and his autism and his things. Some of it ain't autism, some of it just hard headed. I'm just gonna tell you the truth. Because
Don't do
I'm
Jay.
telling
Don't do
you,
that.
I can see
Don't do
through it.
that.
I'm
I
telling
can
you, I can
relate
see
to
through it.
that one.
And some of it is just,
Don't do that.
it ain't got nothing to do with no medical diagnosis when it comes to that little hard headed little boy sometimes. But and so if it's too much, or if I notice something, then I'll just I'll stay away too and just keep him at home, because he's he has these moments to where he's stuck to me like glue, and he will not allow me to part from him in no way. And as a mom, that is frustrating to me sometimes.
Yes,
It
ma'am.
is very
I get
frustrating
it.
to me.
I get it.
That all of a sudden I'm like, I'm finna go, no, you're not. That's the voice he say, no, you're not. What you going there for? He is like mine. And so even some mornings when y'all see the great videos of how he's doing and he's so funny, y'all don't. Some mornings I have to lure Jay out of the vehicle. Like he'll just, I tell people he can show out on cue. Like if I got a very important place or meeting I need to be at, he'll just stall and he will
You
not
know, you
do what
trying to
I
go.
need him to do in that moment. And then he says, um, I'm better now. And I'll be like, I'm still mad. I'm really about to I'm really about to choke you, Jay. And so those are some of the things that, but I do feel like for um every struggle that I have, God is giving me double that in triumphs and victories
My
in
God.
his life. And so once you get to a point of saying, I'll take one bad day out of a 2 week span. I'll take it, and you start expecting like it's okay. We've done good for 5 or 6 months, Jay. If you have a meltdown, then by God, I mean, it is what
I'll
it
take
is.
that.
And I'm gonna take that one meltdown.
So let's
One.
talk about co-parenting, y'all.
Do
Um,
you have to? No.
yeah, yeah, because we trying to help somebody.
All
Um,
right.
Oh,
how is your relationship with your children? Because we all have multiple children. Children's fathers. How are y'all? Y'all good? Like y'all trying to still
Take
work
me
through it?
to the water.
thank
Take
God
me
for
to the
my
water.
husband to be. That's all I'm gonna say about that.
That's all we
Amen.
can say.
Well, I'll be transparent tonight.
Go ahead.
Um, as you know, y'all know, and some of our listening audience knows, I've been married twice, and I have a child with each husband. My co-parenting relationship with my first husband is almost non-existent because he don't parent. He parents when it is extremely convenient for him. And because of some incidences that my son witnessed while in his care, my son prefers not to go. And because my child is of age at this point, he's 14, I no longer make him go. I no longer make him reach out to his father. My child has a cell phone. The daddy got a phone. Y'all know how to communicate. Only thing that I do ask is if you're planning to come get your child, he's still a child, so you need to communicate with me. All I ask for is good communication. I don't keep him from him, but most definitely. So there is not a co-parenting situation. My co-parenting situation with my daughter's father over the last year and a half has greatly increased. It went from him just trying to do things out of spite to him being Johnny on the spot. I think he had to go through and really see some things for himself. Like while we were going through our divorce, he was telling everybody I was a horrible parent, I was a bad mother, which everybody knew that was not the truth. But yeah, but it went to if I needed, something extra from her, he would say he would do it and would never come through. And which resulted in me really not asking for anything because I'm gonna ask their granddad. About to go ask Papa and Gigi if I need some extra because Papa and Gigi gonna always come through. Now I will say the last year or so, maybe he's had some type of godly revelation because everything that I need, on top of which kind of dictates his time because he works out of town. Like he's driven 3 hours just to take her to open house because I had a meeting 2 hours away. So I will say now my co-parenting relationship with that one it is where it should be. It looks like co-parenting,
That's
but
good.
it hadn't always. For a long time, I was having motherhood burnout because basically I was doing it by myself. My parents help out a great deal, like everyday great deal. Like my dad picks my son up from school, my mother picks my daughter up from her after school because she get off an hour before I do and can't stand for her to be there no longer when somebody is off. So it really, I am the epitome of it takes, a village where the village helps, the village shows up. But so, co-parenting is rough. Sometimes, like I have one that's totally non-existent and another one that is better than it was. I won't say it's great, but it's a lot better than what it has been.
Nika,
And
I'm sorry. Go ahead, sister.
one more thing, I was finished, but I wish some. And I didn't sign up to do this by myself. I
Mhm.
didn't sign up for that. And so nobody talks about, and I'm gonna just, I'm gonna keep it real. Nobody talks about the feelings of resentment that can build up for being in a situation that you didn't sign up to do by yourself. So that goes back to what Sister Janotica said, why when you have to have an intimate relationship with God, because The kids didn't ask to be here. Like my son was playing. So he
Mhm.
definitely didn't ask to be here, and I definitely didn't ask to raise him by myself. So you have to really do some soul searching and God seeking, so that you can still give them the best parts of you.
Hmm.
Nika, how's your co-parenting relationship, if any?
My oldest son's father uh, stepped up in a major way in his junior year of high school. My son is 20, about to be 22 in 2 weeks. So he stepped up in a major way, and my son wanted to go back to our hometown to finish school. He wanted to stay with my family members, but I thought, no, you need to stay with your father if you're going to go. We don't want to put you on another adult. Let your parents who brought you into this world be responsible for you. So he stepped up and he allowed my son to, come and live with him for the last year and a half of school. For that, I'm grateful. Um, before that, yeah, it wasn't so great. It wasn't horrible. Like he could have done a lot more. Literally, would drive past the street we lived on, going back and forth to work for years. Wouldn't call, wouldn't text, wouldn't say anything. So my son had some emotional damage from that. Even though he went and lived with his father for the last year and a half of high school, he still remembered all those years. And after being back on his own during COVID, after he started college and he went back to their house for COVID for a couple of months, he could not stay. Um, and then he got his own place again. And after that, he cut his dad off for a while. So our co-parenting skills changed because I was the one that was relaying all of the information. Stay in touch with him. Text him every day or text him every week. Just check on him. Don't give up. I was letting him know stuff on the fly behind my son's back. Hey, he's doing great. He's doing this now. He's working here now. He's doing great. He's back with his girlfriend. Whatever it was. Um, I just kept and I kept telling my son, hey, you still your dad. I know you don't want to. I'm going to keep praying for you. And I just kept insisting to, find it in your heart to forgive. You got to let it go, baby. One day you're going to be a parent and you're going to understand how hard this thing is. I pray and hope you will make better choices than both of us did in the past so that your children don't grow up and feel this resentment that you felt, you know? And sure enough, y'all, my son is having a baby. I'm going to be great.
Hey,
Thank
congratulations.
you. Thank you. And so now he is his dad are back in each other's life. And I thought that was so amazing. Like he came over for Christmas. His dad and his wife came to our family's Christmas gathering. And I was just so happy, that they're back in communion with each other. Now for my youngest son, one who literally was can't sleep without his daddy. Yeah, that relationship is not so great. Um, we don't co-parent at all now. Um, I only contact him when I absolutely have to, and it is one of those things. I don't want to call you daddy, but I kind of need to. There is no established or financial support. If you do, you do. If you don't, fine, whatever. Thank God for my husband though,
Amen.
because man, he's like, just don't say anything negative. Don't you need to I want to heal you from that. I hope that our love will heal you from all the pain that you felt from that. Um and he's stepped up in such a major way in my son's life that my baby is calling him dad. Y'all, we ain't we ain't been engaged for a few weeks.
Well,
He
it's
he came in today and he said, that's my pops right there. That's my dad. That's my dad. And I was like, just thank you. So
yeah. I
that
mean, that's
that, that
good.
co-parenting and that, where that void had been there, and I had just been praying, God, just let him step up and just let him be his father. And he didn't, which is fine because God gave him what he needed.
Mm-hmm. Amen. Not.
For me, I don't I don't know, because I'm always trying to make sure that I am really positive in senses. But as far as co-parenting, I don't have a co-parenting relationship. I don't feel comfortable ever asking for anything outside of what I already get. Sometimes I may slide through and be like, hey, ask your daddy for XYZ. It may come, it may not. I'll be I give credit where credit is due. Um, you know, and so it's more with me, the things that I needed for, especially with what I deal with my son, is non-tangible. None It's okay. I would not prefer finances over being actively involved to take off of some of the load that I have with my child. But I have learned to know that it is well, and that God has put people in places, and he is giving me the help that I need. And do I get frustrated sometimes, especially when I'm in the hospital and I'm the one that's up and down all night, especially when Jay has to use the bathroom throughout the night and he has IVs and stuff hooked up, and I'm being nurse, as well as being mom, because again, under the umbrella of motherhood comes everything. You're a nurse, you're everything. Um, and so for co-parenting for me, I'm okay with it, but I had to grow to make it well with my soul. Like in the beginning, it was not well. In the beginning, I could not understand, why must I do this alone? Like I did not bring this child into this world alone. And I still feel in this moment that you have to remain prayerful, and regardless of how long it is, that something will spark and something will put that in a person to understand that you need to spend time with your children. You need to be actively involved in your life. But what I have realized is that my children are so great that the absent person is the one who's losing and not my children. And then when you start seeing a child never ask or never even inquire anymore, it's like, God, I don't know if I prayed for this, but I thank you, because it would hurt more if they wanted to go and they couldn't go. And so I'm grateful to God that He has allowed it to where they don't even ask. It's like
My
nobody is trying to go. And
yeah, mine don't ask either. My son,
yeah, and
Came
I
into
had
my
a
head.
friend had to say that to me. He was like, the greatest part of it is they don't want to go. Like you just want to make it an issue because you just feel that it should
They
be,
should
and
go. Mhm.
you need to have a break. But at the end of the day, you're lacking nothing. There's never been a time that you've not been able to find somebody to keep your kids when you wanted to go somewhere. There's never been a time where your kids needed and did not have. There's never been a time Jay needed a haircut and he couldn't get it. You know what I'm saying? Like there's just absolutely never been a time you're making it an issue because you want to be mad about it, or you want to just act the fool, but there's not a need. There's definitely, we want it to be a need, but we see that God has so many rams in the bushes and so many people. And then your earnest and sincere prayers that God will send a man or somebody in your life that is going to feel that, because a father is just what it is. I mean, a daddy is what matters. I can have a father. I got a daddy. You know what I'm saying? Like I see, but my dad is a dad to me. He just came over, and I'm 37 years old, and he's like, "You need to put a light bulb out there. What a light bulb at?" And and he screwed that light bulb in for me. And so in that moment, I just realized that we as a people got to stop looking for the hurt that is really not even there anymore.
girl, like,
You
Yeah, that's true.
don't preach.
Yeah, you want to
That's true.
feel it because the human side of you just want it anyway.
Well,
But
tear me
God
up
is
if you want
saying,
to, because you just got me, okay? Don't do me.
Yeah. So we got to stop trying to find what we feel is missing when it's really not even missing, because God has done exactly what we've asked him to do, which is we ain't tell him to send that child's daddy. We told that to send somebody.
Other people. Yeah,
and
that is
so
so true.
we just that's just where we are now. We have to be intentional in our prayers and our conversations with God and what we truly want in life. And if we truly want to not worry about what's not lacking, then co-parenting
That's
ain't even
true.
necessary. I'm just being
Um,
honest.
for me, my kids they're pretty much grown now, 24, 20, and 17. They all have different dads. Like I said, I had my first one at 17, had my second one 21. My third, I was with his dad for many years and married to him, had him at 25. Um, the first two, my oldest son has never met his dad. The last time he seen his dad, he was 3 months old. He's 24. My daughter, the last time she seen her dad, I want to say she was like 7 or 8. And my youngest son, he has a relationship with his father or whatever. And it's like not said, for a long time I wanted to be angry. I wanted to be mad. Like Ebony said, I didn't sign up for this by myself. I didn't do this by myself. Like, I had a little bit of help. So I appreciate a little bit of help. But very early on, I had a conversation with my mother. And she was pretty much like, girl, listen, you just got to do what you got to do. And you can't force nobody to be a father. You can go down, you can put them on child support, but as far as them being there physically, you can't force it. But one thing she always told me, because, some mothers have a habit when the father is absent of speaking ill of that father to that child. Oh, your daddy ain't this, your daddy ain't that. I think I attempted to do it one time and my mama stopped me cold turkey. Don't you ever. Don't do that. She said, because one thing about it, when those children become older, they will know. They will see who's been here. They will see who's done what, and they will see who did not. And you won't have to open your mouth and say a word. So I took that in my heart and I carried that with me. And a lot of y'all not. This is for any young mother, any mother that has young children and the father is not there. Don't you man another time and speak ill of that man. You don't have to. Because I tell you what, mine today, I ain't never spoken ill word about none of their daddies, but they all have formed their own opinion. And the
Mhm.
opinions are extremely accurate.
And
Yeah.
you know what? Just piggybacking off of that, because I make it a habit not to say anything negative. I once their
I promise
fathers
you,
and I
Pastor.
separated and got divorced. And when Aiden had his experiences, um, the last time he said, what I told him was, I always want you to be in a place where you feel safe. So wherever you feel the safest at is where you shall be always. And and he has gone back and forth a couple times, after that. But one of the yeah, go where you feel you all right at. If you want to go, go. We pack up your stuff, you go spend a weekend, whatever, whatever. But like you, because they do form their own opinions.
And
We
baby,
don't
them
have
tables turn. Because I'm
we
gonna be
don't have
honest,
to say a word and do nothing.
But
some
what
days
we
I
have
have
to
to
do,
tell mine like, did you call your dad? Did you check on your dad? Did you make sure? And they
they
be
don't
like,
care.
I don't
And
even
I
do
found
that
myself
anymore.
doing that with a fifth grader, actually saying, "Did you invite? Did you do? Did you do?" And I'm like, "Wow, I thought she
that's
was
not
gonna
their
be
responsibility.
25. I
It's
thought she was
not.
gonna."
It's
I'm like,
not.
I thought she was gonna be 12th grade trying to figure it out, but no, it's like, and so,
No.
but what I do, and you have to continue to encourage your children to do the right thing regardless. And I know sometimes we say, I know, but it's
I
okay
cannot.
to get them to go because they need to know that they did the right thing by at least making it known to that parent. So
They are
listen,
the child. They the
I
child.
understand that, but I'm okay, especially when you don't talk to the parent. I'm okay with just saying, "Hey, did you invite your dad? Hey, did you do this?"
Yeah.
But what I did want to go back to, before we got to that, is I had to learn. And one of my friends told me this, one of my childhood friends, and he looked at me like a little sister. And he said to me, "You got to stop trying to make it right."
There you go.
When they
Yes.
said,
Yes. Yes.
when dad said he was going to buy XYZ or he was going to do XYZ and it don't happen, you need to let them feel that letdown. You need to let them, you need to quit going behind trying to get this what your child asked for from dad, and you already has gotten what they asked for from mom. And just because you want to see a child smile, no, you need to stop doing that, and you need to let them see that dad ain't doing ish what and you know, you just know you're getting it, and you're still putting on the bag from mom or from Santa, and you need to be able to say, nah, baby, this is from mama's hard-earned money or whoever, whatever, and dad didn't get it. I'm sorry. That's just, you have, and I had to get to that point, and I just got to this point the last year, not even a full year of letting, well, for Jay, that don't work because you gonna get what Jay want regardless.
You
That's
sure
just
will.
the end of the day. But or either you gonna have a hard
You're
time.
gonna have a hard day.
But for my girl who is competent and who's able to understand things, I'm to the point of now not trying to make everything right. She needs to be able to formulate her own opinion, and if I'm continuously covering it up, then that's not good, because next time you're gonna be 16 and want a car that you asked them for, and you think I'm finna go get it, because
Yep. Because you make
it's not gonna happen.
That part.
So that's just what I wanted to go back to, that I had to learn as a parent, to quit trying to make everything all right.
Let me ask y'all opinion about something real quick. So
Mhm.
Christmas was how many weeks ago? What, three,
couple of
Three.
three,
Mm.
4 weeks ago? My son still has not gotten his gift from his dad.
mine neither.
But he has gifts. He has them, but he hasn't gotten them. We were there on Christmas Day. I live over an hour away. I don't feel like it's my responsibility to meet him to get my son stuff. I don't
Mm-mm.
feel like it's
Because it's
fair
not.
that I go out of my way to get those things.
Nope.
Am I being petty?
No, you're
No.
really not.
I wouldn't say it was your responsibility. However, if you were already there, okay, no, let me back it up. What did you expect? What did you want from him? Did you want him to bring them all the way to
Yeah,
you?
I did. I didn't want a thing.
Okay, what
Let me
was
clear.
okay?
So the original agreement was he was going to bring them to where we were with my family on
Okay.
Christmas Day.
Mhm.
We waited. We stayed late waiting, and he didn't show. He didn't call or anything.
Oh,
Fine, whatever. It's been weeks, and he's back and forth with communication with his son. Tell your mama to meet me. I'm not meeting you, sir. I can't
No,
come
I
all the way.
wouldn't, because if it's that bad, I mean, put it in the mailbox,
Drop it.
ship it.
yeah.
Okay.
I mean,
I
being that you were
mean,
already there, I mean, I wouldn't
mm-mm.
like you already made the sacrifice to make the drive. You already stayed longer than you anticipated. I mean, at this
And three
point,
weeks before that, um, my son wanted to go and see his dad. He wanted to spend a weekend with him. And I took him all the way, almost to his house. I mean, literally 2 to 3 minutes from his house. And he wouldn't even bring him all the way back. I had to go and meet him somewhere for that. And I just was like, yeah, this is ridiculous. This is
you're tired
silly.
of being the one that makes
It's
all of the
really
ultimate
hard.
And so
sacrifices.
now I'm kind of like, I'm not going to keep bending over backwards. You don't send any financial help unless I have to remind you, hey, you got a kid. So why am I going to
But I
meet
think,
Why
him?
he
but
ain't on the
So I
graphic
think
support?
it's hard still. I think it's hard because even as a parent, we want what's best for our
for the
children. And
child, that's what I'm thinking
it's
about.
really hard, and that's when we do as parents cross,
That's what
we
I'm thinking
we
about. I'm
we
thinking
cross
about
over to
the
things that are
baby.
so uncomfortable for us, and we have to kind of even put our, and we do it a lot of times, we put our, what we want, what we think, on the back burner for our
The
children.
child,
And
yeah.
if we want to see our children smile, and we want to see, and so it's always hard, and it's always a situational and a circumstance, that there's no blueprint to the mile that we should go, we shouldn't go,
Hmm.
um for our children. Things, it depends on how much we want to see our kids smile. I mean, because when you get, do you know what he got? Because you get over there and it's something that ain't Oh,
Good enough.
I probably would be
So
asking
here's the
straight
thing
up
though.
front.
I think that
That's the
for me, I can only
question.
speak for me. I can only
That's a
speak for me.
great question.
For that.
I probably would go ahead and get it for the sake of my child. Now I might have some choice words that ain't like Jesus like words for that son's father, but for the sake of my child, having the things that he's looking forward to, I might go the extra mile.
How old
I'm
is
gonna
the
roll my
baby?
eyes.
Well,
I'm gonna roll my eyes when he take that bag out your hand because of why I had to come up. But the smile and the happiness of the baby will take away my emotions because I have to try to remember it ain't about me or how I feel. Because
Yeah,
at the
and
end,
then
it's
so
me.
just take it to my mama house until I show up to her house and
Do
just leave
that.
it
That's
be.
I
fine.
mean, yeah, but and then to what one of my friends I see who's watching
I didn't read the
said
question. I'm sorry.
that why are we deemed difficult because
Mm,
we set boundaries for the other parent. Um
oh, that's a good question.
I think, but I don't even know if it's the boundaries that we set. I think it may be the expectations that we set that causes the Ebony got she's
Go ahead,
excited.
Ebony.
About to pop.
Because when you set the you're now difficult because you've been going the extra mile. You've been doing everything. So now why all of a sudden can you not continue to carry my emotional load and your emotional load because you want to see the child smile? That's why when you finally decide to let and stop letting the other parent run you, that's why you now are difficult because you now have created healthy boundaries that you expect the other person to abide by. That's why I do not go the extra mile because you
You
can
don't
be
go the extra mile because you just mean.
no, 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 because
It ain't necessary.
y'all call me mean, but the way that my emotional health has prospered since
Yeah.
I have created boundaries for me and my children, when you can take trips. You can take trips. You can go back and forth to work. You can do whatever it is. Like Shanika, my son hasn't gotten his Christmas from his father either. His daddy lived just a little over an hour away. We I have to go to the city that he works in because of my job. Um if you really wanted your son to get that stuff, you literally could call me and be like, "Hey, what day you got to come this way?"
Mhm,
I no longer make my children reach out to their fathers because that is putting the responsibility of the adult on the child, and I
mhm,
will not do that. I
mhm,
won't do that.
mhm,
I might ask him. I used to do that all the time. Hey, da, 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 da. But no, because what if now we don't go in any other situation when we realize somebody don't want nothing to do with us, we leave them alone and cut them loose. Ain't no way in the rest of my natural life that I'm gonna put my child in a situation with somebody that don't want nothing to do with them. You don't
mhm,
want because it don't even take that much effort to text somebody, to call somebody. So
mhm,
ain't no way. Ain't no way. You can pick up the phone, call and text. Call and text. If you don't get him, call me. Call somebody, but I won't ever again ask him, hey, you done called your daddy? Did you text your daddy? Did you do this? Because when he do, he does. If he don't, he won't because that's him formulating his own opinion of the
mhm,
actions that his father set in the place that his father chose to do. That's an active choice. It's an
mhm,
active choice when you know you have a life that you help create that you choose not to be a part in. It would be different if he was incarcerated. You can't choose that, but you choose not to be in communication and see your child. That's
mhm.
that's just that's me.
Can I
I'm not mad
ask
at
a
that, Kim.
question? I know
I'm
y'all
gonna
are
be
the
children.
moderators, but let me
Sure.
ask you. This is something that I truly want to know. Are we as mothers have we gotten to a place that we no longer are even praying for that healthy relationship? Because I'm guilty of not even worrying about it right now. You know what I'm saying? Because we know that the God that we serve can do major things. And so when we get to the point that we say, I'm not even praying for this anymore. Because I ain't even bothering God about their relationship with them. Is that
I
selfish
can,
of
I can answer
us?
I
that.
don't think it's
I can
selfish.
answer that.
I
It's
mean, are
selfish.
we not
Who's
doing
to
what we
say
need
that
to be doing?
wouldn't do more damage than good? Who's
Yes,
to say that
But
exactly.
see, God is gonna make it right because, like, seriously,
how do
it's
we
a
know that God ain't making it right
I
by
be
the
saying to
disconnection?
myself
The
that God got a
disconnection.
whole lot of stuff to deal with me about, and this ain't something I'm finna keep. I done went to God and pray about this situation, and what y'all tell me, I ain't got to keep on praying about the same thing.
You
So,
don't. You don't.
so
My
I am.
only thing is, I just
Sometimes
want
the
my
no is
kids
the
to
answer.
have,
So
I just
no
want
is
my
the
kids to
answer.
have clean hands and a pure heart, whatever that looks like for them. You know, I don't want them to be obsessed and stressing up. Like I will be transparent enough to say that both of my oldest two have had like small mini breakdowns due to the absence of their father. That's too much for them to carry. That's too much for them to carry. So my prayer is, God, allow my children to navigate through these emotions that and have the answer to questions that they probably never would have answered from their own fathers. Give them a sense of,
Hmm.
I don't want them to have malice in their heart. I don't
Right.
want them to be, hateful. If by chance their dads decide to reach out at any point in their lives, pray that my children have the heart to at least hear them out. But if they don't, guess what, God? That's okay because they've left all of these things in your hands. Their hands are clean because they tried. That's my only prayer. Keep my children with clean hands and a clean heart.
Clean heart.
That's it.
So
Hmm.
yeah, so y'all saying we don't pray, we don't even bother God about
Listen.
these men in the
Nope.
I ain't saying don't
aftermath.
bother God with no.
Now,
If it's a
and
burden on you,
the only reason why I continued the prayer for my oldest son and his dad, their relationship would be restored, is because his father put in effort.
Okay. Yeah.
Because let me tell you something, you can't have a relationship when two people don't want to be in it. You
Yeah.
just one person, that's just you. That's just one, that's not a relationship. Um, but his dad had put in effort and my son was hurt. My job as your mom is to pray for your healing.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
You're an adult,
that's
so
it.
I gotta pray for your healing because I don't want you to have a bitter heart. I don't want you to be bitter. I don't want you to be hurt. I don't want you to be broken. So whatever needs to happen in your life for your heart to be mended,
That's
at
it.
least for you to make a connection to the man that brought you into this world again, I'm gonna pray for that.
Yeah.
But let me tell you what I'm not gonna do. I'm not gonna bother God with this human's disrespect for a human he created. I ain't, nope, I ain't even
I ain't
take that to the
bothering you,
Lord.
God.
I'm not
Amen.
taking that to God because the problem
Amen.
ain't got nothing to do with me or my child. It got everything to do with this clown. Now,
I
God,
mean,
you deal with this man however you see fit to deal with it. Yeah, I pray that he come around, but if he don't, guess what? He your child. You got to deal with him. I can't do nothing for him.
I
Nothing.
understand. I understand. I just
But if
wonder.
you do, but if you are praying not, if that is your
I
prayer,
ain't
that's
praying. I just
fine.
asked the
Oh, I was
question
gonna say,
that
yeah, that's fine.
I, I don't care.
That,
I mean, and
that's
I hate
fine.
to say it, but yeah, I know yeah, no, I ain't that little what they say that did. I ain't worried about that.
Because
Oh, and
you did
Ebony, you
that.
said something a minute ago. You said y'all say I'm mean, but let me reiterate something. Being nice is a luxury. You ain't gotta be nice to folks that ain't nice to you.
Baby, it is a
Being
luxury. You
being my niceness is a luxury. I ain't gotta speak if I don't want to.
Oh
I ain't
God.
disrespecting you.
no, you're not. No, you're not. People, when I just was overly nice, people tended to take that for granted.
And
Yes,
I'm still overly nice, and that's the
Yes, you
problem
are.
with
girl,
me.
they'll hurt you.
I'm
I'm
overly
You
lightweight
better be
nice.
nice.
careful with
I'm
being nice
I'm
because
I'm
people will
Yeah, I'm
turn it
overly
and
nice.
make it
I'm
a nice.
lightweight nice.
But
I'm overly
but
nice.
they act like I'm not nice in the beginning until you give me a reason to put
Exactly.
up heavy, tall boundaries.
Yes.
Everybody gets the really super nice, bubbly version of me until you give me a reason that I need boundaries to protect myself.
Yeah.
Now, you don't get the nice, bubbly version of me if I already know you done disrespected my people. I'm fiercely loyal. So if
Exactly.
you, so
That's me too.
if I already know that you foul, I'm gonna come in side eye you and look and stink, and I'm probably not gonna speak.
Exactly.
That's my
That is everything.
that is
all day. And my
That's my
issue
toxic
is,
trait. That's
yeah,
my
that's me
toxic
too.
trait. I can admit that. I'm not
Yeah.
coming in. Hey, how you doing? May the Lord bless, watch, and keep you. I'm not gonna do that
I ain't
because
even
God ain't gonna bless that anyway. God
because
not
it's
gonna
fake.
bless that. He
Because
already
it
know
ain't
my heart.
genuine.
He know it's not genuine. I mean, I had
Mhm.
a situation
And
like that. I went somewhere with one of my bros, and he was like, "Sis, I need your help to get here." They treat me funny. Oh, they are. Wait till I get them.
and she coming in act. And so for me on the other side, I'm always I'm I'm the nice one. And I be trying to be like, Ebony, don't do that. Don't do that. And so
I just
depends.
I don't even try no more, child, because I already know how it's gonna
She
go.
like, don't act
I
like that.
just don't even give her no more pep talks. It just, child,
And so
whatever.
she's kind of like me too, though, because I'm a protector of people. I let people do me bad. I be dead hot if they do it to somebody else, like my friend or something like that. You can get away with mistreating me, but when it comes to kind of my friends or
Yes,
whatever, I be
ma'am.
like,
I'm gonna cut you.
nah,
Don't
my kids
mind.
are my friends and my kids, because I'm a protector of people, and I just got that real bad.
And
That
that's
that
why
happens.
somebody got to protect y'all
Yeah, because
because
I'm a protector
y'all
of
just too
people.
friendly to let people
It's
run y'all
funny
over.
because we just had that conversation a couple of weeks ago, and I told Evan the same thing. I said, "Now you can treat me how you want to treat me. You can say what you want to say about me, but when you come for my people, I'm coming for your throat. You're gonna get
I'm
all this
telling you,
Detroit
baby.
Yeah,
business."
and
It
that's
was
that's the
so
life we live
funny.
right now.
Something had happened, and my feelings was hurt, and she was like, "What? Oh, I'm like,
Yeah.
huh?
So that's how we are. That is it. You
We
can
can't
mistreat
help
me,
it.
but don't mistreat my kids and my people. I'll go the extra
So
mile for my kids
You
and my
ain't finna
people.
mistreat me much.
That's
me
all right there.
neither."
Now it's only so much I'm gonna take.
Hey,
Okay,
let me tell you
it's only
Yeah,
so
something.
that's
much I'm
true.
gonna take.
I can
That's true.
love you and leave you at the same time.
Been there, done that.
Love
Been
them
there, done
and
that.
leave
I
Yes,
can
them.
Lord.
love you
Thank you,
and
Ebony.
not like you.
That was my claim to
I'm telling you.
fame.
Can love you and
Love you
leave
and
you,
not even
baby.
like you. I don't even. I love you, but
Listen,
I can't stand you. I don't like
what
you, but
my
I love
number
you.
one thing is disrespect.
Don't do, don't lie to me or on me. Don't
That
lie
one,
to me or on me.
that one. That's two.
I don't even care if they lie on me. Just don't come to my face with it. I'm
Okay.
Don't
child.
lie.
Listen,
Oh
we
no,
we
that's the
ain't doing
quickest
no
way
forms
to
of
get
disrespect. You don't have to respect me, but you can't disrespect me.
disrespect me. You
And
got
that
to
goes into
disrespect.
motherhood. That's with my kids. Like,
Period.
I don't like disrespectful children.
Oh
Baby,
no.
what?
Disrespectful kids and ungrateful kids will
Oh,
get
girl.
Oh,
hurt.
don't be ungrateful. Don't be
If
ungrateful.
our soul takes
It's
stuff, oh,
ungrateful.
mighty God from Zion.
Yeah, I can't do that. So that's something as we transition back to motherhood. That's
We
that's
Yes.
were
that's
still
one of
All right.
my
talking about motherhood.
Because we'll get all off track.
because
So
that's
We
one of
were
my
still
pet
talking
peeves
about it.
with kids.
so
Mhm.
let's wrap it up, ladies, because this is definitely a topic we
We
can be
went all the
on
way.
all night.
I went all the
Um,
way.
word of advice. Word of advice for mothers to be, mothers with young children, mothers with wayward children. What word of advice? What's your one word of advice? Or
Pray,
not even
pray,
your one word,
pray,
your one
and
statement.
don't
Okay.
stop praying. Pray, pray, pray. Don't stop praying. Believe. Ooh, I know we didn't get to this. We didn't get to this. But if we're already parents, talk your children up.
Mm-hmm.
Affirm them daily. Affirm yourself. It is so hard to repair a broken human,
Yes.
especially an adult.
But it's
But
easier.
the way to keep from having to try to repair them is to affirm them when they're young. Man, let me tell you something. When Quan was 2, you're not a leader. You're not a follower. You're a leader. You never follow other people. I don't care what they doing. I don't care what they doing. You never follow. My son has been the leader in every aspect of his life since he was 2. School projects, classroom. I can't tell you the number of calls, text messages, emails, letters, all kind of stuff. People calling and talking about how well behaved, how memorable he is, and what a great leader he is.
Wow.
Quan on his job, I bragged about him a few months ago. He's changed jobs now. Been on his job. He's still in training. He's the top salesman in the region because he's a
Wow.
leader. You affirm your children when they're young. You keep speaking life into them. You keep praying for them. You keep praying with. We pray with the boys every day. We make them sit down, come to us. They don't like to read, boys, especially why boys don't like to read. They don't like to read. We sit next to them. We let them read to us, and we don't correct them when they mess up a word until they ask us for help. And then we'll say, do you know what that sentence meant? Affirm them, teach them how to think about what they're reading so they'll have a greater understanding. You know why? Because it's going to build their self esteem. They're going to have to read for the rest of their lives. They're going
Mhm.
to have to speak to people at some point. Affirm them when they're young. And I promise you, when they grow up, they're going to be great. That's the
Yeah.
most rewarding thing about motherhood is seeing and letting people come back and tell you what a great job you've done with your children. So
Amen.
Mhm.
Now, word of advice?
Um. Again, pray. Pray, pray some more, and pray some more. But also show up for your children. Make
Mm,
them feel that you are their biggest fan, no matter what you have to do, no matter who you have to cut off, no matter what job you have to tell, like, I gotta be here for my kid. Can I set this meeting at another time? Can you cover for me so that I can show up for my kid? Because I can remember playing basketball and I was just a great, I didn't care because I knew my mom and I knew what it was. And then I was just a different kid, but is when my mom went to second shift, just for a little while, I remember feeling that my mom was not gonna make it to my basketball game. And like I was a popular kid, I was a popular basketball player that I really didn't care. Some days I didn't even want to up there because she was screaming so loud. Take her out the game if she don't do what she need to do. And, but I remember that feeling that I felt when just the thought that my mama was not gonna make it to my basketball games. And I was in high school when this happened. And so you gotta be able to show up for your children. I know some jobs just is not going to allow it, and I know, but if nothing more, show up, be your kids' number one supporter, be your kids' biggest fan, but also expect your child to respect you and expect your child to give them your best in what they do. And you, if they're not giving their best, or they can't make all A's. Cause my kid made a 78. She made three A's and a 78, but I saw her try every day. She was trying so hard, and that's all I needed from her was to keep trying and to let her know how proud I was of her for trying. I even said it like you gotta try. So just a quick thing that I will just say, just show up for your kid. Let them know that you support them 100%. We're not going to always agree with what they do, but they have to feel that safe space with you. And one of the five things with Boys and Girls Club: expectations and opportunities. Opportunities, expectations. Set the opportunities and expectations for your kids, but give them opportunities.
Ebony, word of advice?
Leave them cheering where they at. No, for real. I've been waiting to say that the whole time.
I'm free.
No, really. My word of advice to upcoming mothers, expecting mothers, mothers with children of all ages: show up for yourself first.
Mm,
Find out what the best version of you looks like
mm,
so that you can give them the best version of you. One of the things that I will say, especially when I entered into motherhood the second time around, I was more confident in myself. So I was able to pour that into her,
mm,
which allowed me to pour more into my son. So find you, because when you can find you, you naturally give them the best part of you. So show up for you first so that you can show up for them. I will say my son made me more responsible. He turned me into a much more responsible person. My girl made me a more fun person. Um she over there talking something. But yeah, they both brought out very uh different aspects of my personality, and I needed both of them for that. So I don't even think I would be who I am now if it weren't for them, because they they dictated my movements, but I had to show up for me first in order to give them the best part of me. So that's my advice.
Um, and I'm sorry, y'all. I'm sitting over here like trying to fight back tears. It gets better. It gets better. It's tough sometimes, y'all.
A lot of
It's
times
real hard. It's real hard.
I'm not gonna cry with
Like
you.
when little people depend on you, you have days when you're struggling between trying to feed them, making sure they're good, versus if I don't eat, I'll be okay. But as long as my kids eat, you have times when you're just struggling and you just don't feel like you're gonna make it. But I promise you, it gets better. It gets better. You're gonna have some hard days. You're gonna have some dark days. It's gonna be tough some days. You're gonna feel like,
Hey
Lord, why
Jay.
you place this burden on me? But I promise if you just keep going, if you keep going and you keep praying and you keep affirming your children and you keep showing up for yourself, it's gonna get better. It's gonna get better. This thing didn't come with no manual. We
You
ain't got
sure
no
do.
handbook to tell us, the right way to do things and the wrong way to do things. We just winging it and we just praying that it work out. But it gets better. It gets better. Just keep on going. Like don't whatever you do, don't stop. It gets better. I promise you. My mama said when they little, they lay on your lap. When they get grown, they lay on your heart. But it's okay because if you know that you're instilling the right things in them when they're little, it ain't gonna be too much heart pressing when they get grown because they're gonna know the right from the wrong thing to do. And they're gonna hear like, I don't know, I just feel the need to call my mama at 42 years old and just say thank you. Just for the
Yeah.
sacrifices that you've made for me. You know,
Mhm.
it gets better, y'all. I promise
Yeah,
you.
I don't know what happened from the time I went and received Jay at the door, but
Mm.
I was listening to y'all. But Kim, I like that spiel you just gave, and
Girl, I don't know.
You have
I
to
always
tell me
been
that.
an emotional child.
because I'm serious. Even me, like I said, I would say I'm a seasoned parent now. Jay 19, but baby, when I tell you every day is a struggle, but we just keep praying for they, pray for your babies, pray for their mental stability. That's what we're living in right now. The kids need more
Yes,
mental
ma'am.
and psychological and emotional support than the tangible things. Sometimes when people donate the kids, they give them a lot of tangible items, and I be saying to myself, "Little Johnny straight on the clothes and the shoes. That baby needs something else." so, so definitely don't try to shower them with all those things that can pass away. But at that they grow out, they
Give
outgrow clothes, they
them
outgrow shoes.
Jesus.
But give them
But they
Jesus.
cannot grow
Give
love.
them Jesus.
They
Can't
cannot
grow
grow
love.
love.
Well,
Y'all, Jay
ladies,
just came back. He brought me a milkshake. He just came back from.
look at them.
That's another thing, y'all. And we got
Yeah,
to
when
go.
they get older, they give y'all good gifts. Cause my kids give me some good gifts.
Well, Jay just came from, and Jay on Sundays made me sometimes if I do the full thing, there's 3 church services that he had to go touch if I allow that to happen. And lately I've been like, mm-mm. But today he got his 3 services in, but he's so happy when he's in the presence. And and sometimes he's not happy depending on if they ain't let him beat the drums. Because the drums is a blessing and a curse. If he can't beat the drums,
He ain't.
he gonna probably tear up the sanctuary. But he just said he happy now. He said, I'm happy.
Good, Jay. I'm
Yeah.
glad you're happy, baby.
We glad you happy.
Well, this has been Yumi and the Trinity's Christ Connections and Conversations Motherhood. What I wish I knew. Thank you for joining us. Good night.
Good night, y'all.